And welcome to another very interesting show. You know, we're hearing more about artificial intelligence every day now. And there has been an artificial intelligence breakthrough from NYU, Langone Health, and Facebook Artificial Intelligence to significantly accelerate MRI scans. This sounds interesting. So let's find out how fast MRI would be better for patients, broaden access to scans, and potentially change how MRIs are used. So my guest from NYU Langone Health, Dr. Michael Hecht, and Facebook Artificial Intelligence, we have Nafissa Yakubova. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Hi, Mark.
Great to be here.
Well, after 2 years of collaboration, I believe, your team has developed a new way to create MRI images with artificial intelligence and using just 1/4 of the data of a traditional scan. Now, a first-of-its-kind clinical study to be published in the American Journal of Radiology shows that these AI images are just as diagnostically accurate as traditional MRIs. So does this mean that a scan that today would require you to hold still in the machine for an hour, which I hate, by the way, could be, one day soon, just a matter of minutes?
That's exactly correct, and that's what's so exciting about this. Most people agree with you. It's hard to lie still for a long period of time in the magnet, and if we can do it faster, it'll be a much better patient experience. And for children who often need to get anesthesia, you might be able to do some of these exams without the need for anesthesia. So very exciting if we can implement this widely in the population.
Wow, I tell you what, because I am not alone when, claustrophobia in that thing, I tell you, I know that there are many more people like I. So tell us, Doctor, tell us more about the FAST MRI research project. How did it come about?
Maybe I could comment on that. We at Facebook AI research team have been looking into challenging AI problems to solve, but at the same time, we wanted to have a real world impact to do something good with AI in society. So we reached out to NYU Langone team where they have already been looking into making MRIs go faster using AI. So we teamed up to use our complementary expertise and use AI to learn creating MRI images from just a fraction of the data, so patients have better experience. There are new use cases, and we are giving away all the solutions freely and openly to the rest of the world.
So how is FAST MRI taking a different approach than most research in AI for medical imaging?
That's really an interesting and great question. So most people, if you look into the press and you hear about it, what you hear about is AI making diagnosis, trying to look at an X-ray or look at a CT scan and help the radiologist make the diagnosis. What we're doing here is something very different. AI isn't trying to make the diagnosis. What it's trying to do is make the image or allow us to create the image with less data and to go faster. And we think this is an area that has really been less researched in the past, but it has incredible potential in allowing us to achieve great results and go faster with the same quality.
What makes this a hard problem for artificial intelligence?
Yeah, so for AI, it's very important to get the images right. So you might have seen AI being used to generate images that are not real, but could be looking realistic, like celebrity faces or deepfakes. But in this case, we are using real clinical data, just undersampling it, using just a fraction of it. And for AI, the challenge is to create an image without guessing, just creating, using the MRI knowledge in the system of the models you built, and make sure the images you generate don't just look nice and nice to look at, but also contain all the little details, every information that it should contain there so doctors can make diagnostics. So the challenge comes in here to make sure that you can validate in the clinic, and that's what we are demonstrating in this study that we published.
Well, I'm speaking with Dr. Michael Hecht and Nafissa Yakubova. Very interesting. This is a big breakthrough. It's great news. Now, this rigorous clinical study that you did shows fast MRI can work in the real world. 4 times less data. Fast MRI creates images that are diagnostically accurate as traditional MRIs. So my question to you would be, tell us about the clinical study. What exactly did it find?
Sure. So what we wanted to do is after we developed this model, we wanted to say, how does it really perform? So we looked at 108 patients who came in for an MRI examination of the knee to look for internal derangement, a meniscal tear, a ligament tear, cartilage injury, or bone abnormalities. And we scanned them using our traditional technique. And then we were able to take some of the data that we had acquired and essentially throw it away. And we reconstructed, using the artificial intelligence network, the same images. And we had 6 experienced musculoskeletal radiologists. This is all they do, is look at bone and joints. And they read the exams twice, first with the traditional images and once with the accelerated images. And they separated that by a period of 4 weeks to make sure that they didn't remember anything they saw the first time they looked at the case. And what we were looking for were 2 important findings. The first were, what was the quality of the images? Were the images as good as the traditional images? And second, could we make the same diagnosis? Because one of the dangers was that the images could look good, but they could hide pathology. That's what we were scared about. Would the images look great, but would we miss a tear? Would we miss an abnormality?
Right.
And what we found is the images performed equally as well, whether they were accelerated or standard, in making the diagnosis for every structure we looked at. And we looked at 19 different structures in the knee.
Wow.
And that was really exciting. But what was even more surprising to us was that not only were the images as good as traditional images, but every single one of the 6 radiologists said that the accelerated images actually had better image quality than the standard images. And the reason that was so exciting is that meant that there would be no resistance to implementing this new sequence once it gets regulatory approval, and it can really be implemented widely for patients.
Well, I feel for you. You guys must have sort of, held it with a bated breath on the results, because you weren't really to know how it was going to come out, and you had some concerns, as you say, and it proved it absolutely beautiful. You must have been ecstatic at the time. I mean, faster MRI scans, let's face it, it's got to be better for patients, clinics overall, and communities. And I guess it could even enable new use cases for MRIs. Would that be right?
That's absolutely true. And that's one of the things that's so exciting for us. As a bone and joint radiologist, you know that if you hurt yourself, the first thing when you go to a doctor is they get an X-ray. And an X-ray can diagnose a fracture, but it can't tell you anything about what's going on with your muscles, your tendons, your ligaments. So most of the time, those X-rays are normal, and then you have to go on and get another test. And there is some radiation involved with the X-ray. It's a small amount, but we want to use as little radiation as possible. If we can make MRs faster and cheaper, instead of getting the X-ray and then waiting to get your MR, you can just get the MR as soon as you see your doctor that same day. It could be a walk-in MR, and you can get your answer without any radiation. One of the other areas that's very exciting for us is stroke. So this is a huge problem, as you know, and there are new treatments, if you can diagnose stroke very early, that can intervene to limit the damage. But you need to image to see what's going on before you do these techniques. Currently, we use a CT scan because it's faster. Studies have shown that MR actually gives you more information, but we usually don't use an MR because of the time it takes. If we can make an MR of the brain faster, we can change the paradigm of how we image and start by using MR instead of CT scans. So there's a lot more use cases that we can use MR, decrease radiation, and get more information, and get that information faster to improve patient care.
Wow, isn't that exciting? I tell you what, it's too late for some, I know, but hey, it's so riveting to hear good news with all the bad news around us at the moment. What about the question of being done from home? Is that asking for too much, do you think, Doc?
So at the moment, the answer is yes. Right now, we don't have home or portable MRs. There are some that are getting smaller, but even those need to be done in an imaging center or a hospital. So we're not there yet.
Not there yet. We've got to get this thing out first. Speaking of that, what is next for the project? How soon do you think before, this wonderful thing can be in the system and working?
Yeah, the next we're looking into different body parts like brain, abdomen, to make sure that we can use fastMRI in all MRI settings. And then also working with the manufacturers of the MRI scanners, giving our solutions freely to them so they can incorporate. And also NYU is planning to do more testing with multiple institutions and get more validation for the research. And hopefully we can see it being used very soon after getting regulatory approval.
That's great news. And in the meantime, I believe you do have a site too that my listeners can go to read more.
Yes, you can visit fastMRI.org to learn more and access our freely available tools and solutions that we've built.
Fabulous. That's great. And not only that, it'll be up on our site here at Tucson Business Radio X on the Business Radio X network, and they can read all about it as well, along with your photographs that stay up there to get to know you a little better. And that'll be up for some time, as with this interview. So time has run out, but it's been fascinating. Love to have you back again sometime down the track. Very appreciative. Dr. Michael Hecht and from Facebook AI, Nafissa Yakubova. Thank you to both of you, and hey, job well done.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Goodbye.
Have a great day.
Goodbye.